When Hublot goes quiet, it's almost louder than when they're shouting. This is the classic Fusion Chronograph Bronze Brown, and it's one of my favorite Hublots. It's refined, warm, and beautifully balanced. For a brand known for experimenting with sapphire, ceramic, and bold collaborations, this one feels refreshingly grounded. When Hublot decides to be understated, they can be seriously strong. And this watch proves that their quieter side deserves a lot more attention than it usually gets. Hublot's identity has been built around boldness. They're the ones who first put gold on rubber back in 1980, a move that completely changed the way people thought about luxury watches. Since then, they become known as the masters of materials, pioneering colored ceramics, full sapphire cases, and unique metal alloys. That innovation is what most people associate with Hublot: big, expressive design and high-tech materials. The new Arsham collaboration watch is a perfect example. Modern, sculptural, and unapologetically Hublot. But what often gets overlooked are the pieces like this, the ones that take that same technical expertise and apply it with restraint. The classic Fusion line has always been the more subtle side of Hublot. Cleaner lines, simpler proportions, and a focus on materials and finish. The classic Fusion Chronograph Bronze Brown takes that approach and adds just enough presence to make it feel special. The model is a US e-commerce exclusive, limited to just 30 pieces. It follows the earlier classic Fusion Bronze Brown, but this version adds a chronograph complication, giving it a more functional edge while keeping the same relaxed design language. The bronze case is what immediately draws you in. Hublot is known for materials that never change: ceramic that doesn't scratch, sapphire that stays crystal clear, but bronze is the opposite. It evolves. Even the sample I received already showed slight variation in tone, a soft aging that gives it a lived-in feel right out of the box. Over time, that patina will continue to develop, darkening and shifting in subtle ways. No two will ever look exactly the same. It's a nice reminder that not every Hublot needs to be futuristic. This one feels human. It'll wear in, not out. The case measures 45 millimeters across and about 13 millimeters thick, but it wears smaller than those numbers suggest. The lug area slopes down sharply, integrated into the strap attachment, so it hugs the wrist comfortably and sits lower than you'd expect. The material is brushed bronze and it's executed really well. The brushing gives it depth without being shiny. It's all about texture. Depending on the light, the surface shifts between dark copper and muted brown tones, creating warmth without that flash. Hublot pairs that organic metal with microblasted black ceramic on the case back, which brings a touch of modern contrast. That mix of old and new materials is exactly what Hublot does best, the art of fusion at its most restrained. You also get a sapphire crystal with anti-reflective coating and a matching bronze crown and pushers, keeping the entire design really cohesive. Water resistance is 5 ATM or 50 meters, which is fine for everyday use. It's not a sports chronograph, but it feels durable, solid, and intentional in every detail. The dial is what really brings this piece together. It's a sunray brown dial with a rich, even tone that pairs beautifully with the bronze case and gold accents. The finish catches the light just enough to highlight its texture without it ever feeling really flashy. It's a color combination that makes a lot of sense to me. A black dial would have felt too stark, gray would have faded into the case. Brown gives the watch warmth and balance. It ties everything together in a way that feels really deliberate. And I really love that chocolate dial with a gold or copper case. It just works really well. The gold-plated hands and applied markers add enough contrast for legibility, while the subdials at 3 and 9 keep the layout symmetrical. The date window at 6 blends in neatly, maintaining visual balance. It's straightforward but considered, the proportions are right, the details are clean, and nothing feels added for effect. This really is Hublot showing a lighter touch, letting color, texture, and material do the real work here. Inside is the HUB 1143 self-winding chronograph movement, running at 28,800 vibrations per hour with a 48-hour power reserve. It is a dependable automatic chronograph that Hublot has used across several models, and for good reason. It's proven, accurate, and easy to service. The choice not to use one of their in-house Unico calibers keeps the watch a little more accessible in price, which makes sense given the other premium materials at play here. But even so, the case back is open, so you do see the movement working. The strap follows a familiar but effective formula: dark brown alligator leather on top with a black rubber lining underneath. It's a small thing, but it's a perfect example of what Hublot does well, combining luxury materials with practical engineering. And it makes it much more sturdy. This strap will last a long time, and it's also pretty comfortable. And as I said, the alligator brings that elegance, while the rubber adds flexibility and durability. And plus, it will handle that humidity and all the weather really well when you're wearing it. The deploying clasp is finished in brushed bronze and black steel, which ties nicely back to the case. And while 45 millimeters might sound big on paper, the way the case is shaped makes it surprisingly wearable. The short sloped lugs help it sit naturally on the wrist. It does feel substantial, but not oversized. More presence than a bulk. I think this watch fits neatly into Hublot's broader story about materials. They've built their reputation on innovation, from the first golden rubber watch to colored ceramics and transparent sapphire cases. Those materials are all about stability and precision. Bronze, on the other hand, introduces an element of change. It's really a reminder that even though Hublot can engineer perfection, they're willing to also explore imperfection. The Classic Fusion Chronograph Bronze Brown represents the other side of that material spectrum, a watch that embraces time and wear instead of resisting it. It's really a thoughtful contrast. Sapphire stays flawless forever, bronze tells a story as it ages. Both are equally Hublot, just different expressions of what they do best. The Classic Fusion Chronograph Bronze Brown is priced at $17,500 and sold exclusively through Hublot's US online boutique. Only 30 pieces will be made. It's not really positioned as a headline-grabbing release. It's a quiet, collector-focused piece for people who appreciate the material story behind it. And honestly, that limited run fits the watch perfectly. This isn't something you'll see often. It's meant to feel personal from day one. Hublot is a brand people love to debate, but that's part of what makes them interesting. They take risks, they experiment, and they don't follow the traditional Swiss playbook. The Classic Fusion Chronograph Bronze Brown shows that their creativity isn't limited to big, flashy statements. It proves that they can make something subtle, well-proportioned, and genuinely refined. It's a piece that feels lived in and unique even when it's brand new. If you've ever been curious about Hublot but felt that most of their lineup was too bold or too modern, this might be the watch that changes your mind. It's still every bit Hublot, but it's a little bit more understated and something that I think collectors will really like. So if you've enjoyed this breakdown, hit the like, subscribe, and let me know in the comments. What's your favorite understated Hublot? Would you go for bronze, ceramic, or something wild like sapphire? Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.